Out this video. Appreciate it, appreciate it. Make sure that you do me a favor, hit that rate, subscribe, share button, hit that thumbs up. Let's make it do what it got to do. For you today, we're asking a question. Is there a new mayor out there, or a mayor with a new story that is worse than Tiffany Henyard? That is worse than Tiffany Henyard. Let's check it out. Let's get to the story here. Let's check this out.
Tonight, another South suburban town faces controversy.
Just like we've seen in Dolton, it involves the community protesting against their mayor.
Our Nate Rogers picks up the story from here in Harvey.
There are many issues here in Harvey that residents have brought to our attention. Residents marched from a nearby church right here to the municipal center before tonight's meeting. Several police officers were on hand, some residents calling that an intimidation tactic.
We're just seeking the transparency, participatory governance. We have several questions about the bills list, and if we know what's going on in adjacent communities, we certainly don't want to model those types of things.
That was a shots fired at Tiffany Henyard there, huh? Adjacent communities. That was a shots fired at her.
Leave the churches alone.
Tiffany Henyard catching strays.
Tension in suburban Harvey continues to grow. Residents taking their fight to the street in a peaceful protest.
Where are the licenses?
Finally, outside Harvey's municipal center, residents holding signs. One of them saying, quote, Mayor Clark is worse than Tiffany Henyard. Another one, quote, stop harassing vendors. Business owners saying their licenses are being held up. Residents complaining of a 3% water hike. Pastors outraged after Harvey churches are now required to obtain a business license or their doors threaten to be closed. At least 2 city council members and a packed room of concerned residents are calling for transparency on how village dollars are being spent. The mayor's critics are also asking that his administration be investigated along with his business dealings.
It's unacceptable. You have been elected to serve. You should serve with integrity, not pushing the agenda of the mayor, not pushing the agenda of what he has asked you to do in his office, but I'm expecting people to do what they have been elected to do. And when you get aside from that, then you need to be removed.
But why are you intimidating somebody with a business? How can this happen when we got more policemen here than I...
This brother got the same shocks that I got on, or earphones.
Ever seen in a year? Who's paying for all of this? Who's paying for all of this stuff we got going?
When it comes to the money, we just ask for transparency. You're an attorney, you know that.
Now, city council members tell us more than 70 businesses and over 100 churches are impacted by Mayor Chris Clark's latest mandates. We asked to speak to Mayor Clark. I even gave my business card to his chief of staff. We were told no, that he is not available. As always, here in Harvey, Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.
Not that we can't speak to you, not we'll make an appointment. No, you're not available. Let me just say this, right? So sometimes these things can become contagions, and what we mean by that when we say that is we see, as the young lady was saying there, that we see what's going on in other residents or whatever, and we don't want, or another adjacent town. And we don't want those same types of things here. And it doesn't mean it's going on, right? So rate hikes, these things are just par for the course. And it's unfortunate and all that. But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily that the mayor is corrupt and all that. So, of course, they're going to look into it. But I would just be concerned about, okay, this is what's going on in another community. Let's join in with that because we don't like how things are going. And we're going to accuse our mayor of being the same way. So I really hope that they're not just throwing those terms around. The other point that I would make is, I believe in churches paying. I believe in churches paying. There's too many churches from all different denominations have all gone through some type of scandal. You look at the Catholic Church, you look at other churches, the Mormon Church, my old church was the Church of God in Christ, sexual scandals and all that. Too many times they've just become tax shelters, money laundering schemes, corruption agencies, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't have any problem with getting a business license. Now, Of course, on the other side, the business license is just another tax. So why don't you just, I don't know if they're still enjoying their tax exempt status, but these churches have hospitals sometimes, they have daycare centers, they have schools, their minister is writing off their cars and writing off their property that they live in, and all kind of other different tax shelter type of schemes. So I'm certainly in favor of stopping all that kind of nonsense and foolishness. So let's read an article. That was a brief 2-minute thing. Let's read an article. All right, let's check out this story from the Chicago Tribune. Harvey residents, business owners protest fines, water rates, and withholding of businesses licenses. I don't think there's anything new. The protesters marched from Transformation Community United Methodist Church to a municipal building before the monthly city council meeting. Residents and business owners called for an investigation into Mayor Clark's administration and his business dealings, chanting in unison, "Stop the extortion, where is the money?" Harvey business owner Benicia Gonzalez, one of the organizers, said that the chants were in response to settlement agreements offered to businesses with delinquent property taxes. The city council passed an ordinance in January to deny operating licenses to businesses that owe property taxes. Well, I shouldn't have to. That seems pretty normal to me. Clark said the city collects 52% of its property taxes, and some businesses have evaded property tax for up to 20 years. Listen, that was the same problem we had in the city that I came in 52. I think they were somewhere around the 90-something% rate now. I think. It's been a while since I paid attention, but when I was working in the PD, it was bad. I mean, it was bad. They weren't collecting any of the taxes. Many big companies that hadn't paid taxes, again, 20 years. So yeah, costing the city $25 million in revenue, with roughly $12 million from overdue property taxes. Clark said the city also loses 35% of all sales tax revenue to the state because of unpaid police and fire department pensions. An issue he says is he inherited from his predecessor. Again, that was the same situation that I had in the city that I lived in and worked in, and it was a problem. We couldn't get raises, potholes can't get fixed, new equipment for schools, all that type of stuff, right? When people aren't paying or collecting taxes. Businesses with overdue taxes who choose to operate without a license are being presented with a settlement agreement, allowing them to sidestep fines up to $2,500 per day and continue to run their businesses while they determine how to settle the property tax debt. Harvey's second ward alderman Colby Chapman said the decision to offer a settlement agreement was not presented to the city council for a vote. He's just out here making decisions on his own, so C alleges. Certainly an agreement of any sort with the city of Harvey is recouping dollars for something should have been presented in front of the council, Colby said. Delinquent businesses owners can pay a $2,500 down payment plus an additional $2,500 a month, eventually totaling $30,000, 2 installments of $12,000 for 1 year, totaling $24,000 or $20,000 for an entire year up front, according to a copy of an agreement obtained by the Daily Southtown. We tried to find a way that in lieu of prosecution, we would be able to allow them to stay open, but they would have to pay some type of fine as a result. And that way we didn't have to continually charge them $2,500 a day, Clark said. But some residents at Monday's meeting expressed confusion and frustration over the settlement and withholding of operating licenses. Gonzalez said he inherited his father's auto shop along with years of late property tax bills when he was 20. Gonzalez, now 24, said the city ordered her auto shop to close in May due to outstanding property taxes shortly after she applied to renew her business license. The city's planning department reviews business licenses and all renewal documents and are due at the end of April. According to a city ordinance, failure to renew a license by the deadline will result in a $2,500 fine, according to the license renewal letter for 23-24 applications. All we want to do is provide for our family, Gonzalez told the city council, and we feel like we have nothing more to lose anymore. Gonzalez said she went to the city officials to plead her case. She was given a statement agreement to which she has not accepted. This is her. This is Miss Gonzalez speaking here. Clark said by law, the city cannot award licenses to any businesses with outstanding property taxes. He said the settlement agreement is a way for businesses to avoid these fines, but also give back to the city in some form. Clark said he made efforts to inform business owners and residents about the settlement agreement option before licenses were due for renewal. We were hopeful that the businesses would take advantage of it so much so that I had my team send a letter to the businesses to let them know that this was available for them, Clark said. Clark said the money from the settlement does not go toward the business owner's outstanding property tax balance, but gives them time to determine how to pay back their back dues. Oh, so they still got to pay all that back? I mean, I thought that was the purpose, is to give them some type of leniency. Apparently not. Business owners said even if they wanted to take the settlement, they can't afford $2,500 a month. I'm sure you can. Otherwise, it's $2,500 a day. So you better take this deal, right? And that's a lot of money. $2,500 a month. Other protesters spoke out against the city ordinance requiring charitable organizations and churches to acquire business licenses. The Reverend Jonathan Johnson, a pastor at the Holy Bible Missionary Baptist in Harvey, said he is frustrated because the business license his church applied for over 2 months ago is still under review, probably because they ain't paid that money. They have not given us a word as to where they are with this review. With the review, Johnson said, and we're not a business. We're a charity. We operate solely off of donations, not profits. Okay. Okay, we all know that that's not accurate, but whatever. Clark said he has made an effort to communicate his agenda and invite open discussion. The residents and elected officials say there has not been enough transparency regarding how the city money is being spent. Colby expressed her ongoing efforts to obtain information from the city regarding the transition from the annual Treasurer's Report, which provides a detailed breakdown of government expenditures and revenues, to the Comptroller's Report, offering a comprehensive review of city's financial well-being. She said she has yet to receive any responses. The city has not yet released a yearly Treasurer's Report since 2022, but recently published a Comptroller's Report in March. The residents need to know what's going on, she said. This is very important. As an administration, we can be heard like our minority voice means something. We can be heard like our minority voice means something, even if it's not part of the majority vote, but we must be heard. Well, let me know your thoughts, your opinions, right? So I think I'm in favor of churches, and not because I'm mad at the church or anything, but they get to hide too much behind these type of things, and there's too much shenanigans that goes on with the money, and they're not paying taxes, and they're not, it's just too much. I'm in favor of the businesses getting some type of leniency, making a down payment or whatever, and working on paying off their debt. I think there should be some type of consolidation, some type of leniency. If you owe 20 years, let's just say it's back taxes, right? And okay, well, let's come to some agreement. You pay back 15 years and do some type of installment payment or something along those lines. Those are my thoughts. That's what I would do if I was a mayor. You got to get some type of revenue. And you also, what we did in our city was they hired an outside agency to, go after these different businesses and all that, and to make sure that the businesses and landlords were paying their taxes. So, and that causes the water hikes. When people don't pay their taxes, they gotta get the revenue somehow. They gotta pay your police officers and your fire officers, firefighters, and your on the park officials and teachers and people, the street crews and all. You gotta pay these people, right? And they want their cost of living. They want their new contracts and updated equipment. And at 52% is an abysmal collection rate. So, let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Is this guy worse than Tiffany Henyard? Again, I think it's a contagion. You can't just throw that word around, but that's my opinion.